Hello everyone, greetings and namaste. My name is Luke Elijah. I'm here in New York, and my lovely guest with me today is Mateo, who is a holistic healer. Thank you, Mateo.
Thank you so much
for agreeing to come on my talk show and share with us your life story, because I found you very inspiring. I wanted you to share your experiences and what you have to offer the rest of the world. Right? Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in spiritual work?
Sure. I was actually in my last semester of school, and I had my own Reiki treatment done by a friend of mine, and it felt very powerful. And at the end of his treatment, he said, "You're a healer," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I am, because I'm going to be a nurse." He's like, "That's not exactly what I'm talking about." So I listened to it and said, "Okay, sure." A couple of months after that, a very dear friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer and was in a lot of discomfort and pain. So I contacted my Reiki master friend, Peter, and said, "Would you be available to help?" And he said, "Absolutely, on one condition." And I said, "Name it." And he said, "Well, you'll work with me." At the time, I just said okay, because I really wanted to be there for my friend Mark. And I think the first words out of my mouth were, "Well, sure, I'll help, but I don't really know what I'm doing." And he just said, "Yes, you do." And that was it. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. We began working with Mark, and at first I just kind of followed, like, he did this, so I did this, and I was mimicking his behavior. But very quickly I realized, like, I was starting to feel certain things and become aware of certain things that I had no way of accounting for knowing that. I just knew.
It naturally and organically flew through you.
Exactly, exactly. And the more we worked together, the more I learned to trust that and to listen to that.
It takes practice, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mark passed away a couple of months afterward, and I just decided to keep going and keep doing the work.
Well, we're glad you continued it.
Yes. I'm glad. I mean, Mark was such a powerful person in my life on so many levels, but this was one of the most powerful gifts
that he gave to you.
He gave to me, allowing me to work with him. So this happened right around the time I was going into my formal Western medicine nursing career. I graduated in 2006. This happened beginning over the summer, and then in September I began my nursing career. So I continued doing this healing work as I was just beginning my Western medicine nursing
So it was
career.
concurrent. I guess that gives you perspective of best of both worlds, from a scientific approach as well as a holistic, more spiritual perspective.
Absolutely, and it was nice to see
the balance of the two.
Yeah, and how so many of my patients who came in to be treated for something physical really were having something spiritual, emotional happen at the same time. So I did nursing for a couple of years in the ER primarily, and then a hospital I had been at that I loved was closing down. So it seemed like a really great opportunity for me to finally take a plunge and do something that I've been talking about doing for a really long time. So I took the chance and I began doing deep tissue work. And initially I held myself back from healing work because I had it in my brain that was less marketable and less quantifiable than, say, a healing session.
Yes.
Because you can feel, any client can feel, I'm kneading their tissues and I'm working with their body. And energy work, sometimes I don't lay hands directly, I hover or So in my brain, not because anyone told me that, but in my brain I felt like I can really charge for massage and get people to come because they know what to expect. Energy work, people aren't going to know what to expect, and they're probably not going to want to pay for something
that's supposedly less tangible.
Exactly, exactly. And so, but that was my own qualification.
Yes, it's our own blocks and limitations that it's the story that we tell ourselves that become our reality.
Perfectly stated. And that was my reality. So I did well in gaining clients for deep tissue work, but when it came to doing energy work, there wasn't much of an interest. And even when people would ask me about it, in hindsight, I realized the way I talked about it was kind of scared and timid, and that wasn't where my focus was.
Yeah.
So I did that for like 9 or 10 months, just doing pretty much body work full time, very little energy work. And then I went back into Western health and administration for 2 years. And then I really realized that I don't like the institution of Western...
Bureaucracy.
The bureaucracy, that it's very much a business.
The commercialism of it,
It's about profits.
It is, totally. Yeah, I guess that's normal because all of us is the dualistic reality that we live in. So we shuttle back and forth, and sometimes we go through periods of where we doubt ourselves, especially in the beginning, and so it's all the fears and limitation that blocks us, and then after we go through phases of that, but after that we reawaken and we get back into alignment and resonance with all the holistic stuff.
That's true, and I definitely had being still entrenched in the Western model of how we do things. It can be difficult to really forge one's own way, you know. So I would be back and forth with it, but after 2 years of doing an administrative role as a nurse at a private physicians group, I just felt very unhappy. I didn't feel connected to healing. I didn't feel. I just didn't feel vital. And so I decided in July of 2013, I'd rather take a chance on my happiness and take a leap of faith than stay stuck in a job that I really don't like.
Well, thank you for inspiring me and as well as us that who might be watching, that you can, even for myself, when I started to do full-time spiritual service, I was scared. I was like, can I make a living out of this? And but I took the plunge, and it's the best thing ever. The best thing that ever happened to me. So to all you would-be spiritual practitioners out there who are listening, we need more healers. We need more people to come out, step out and serve. And so we kind of like pushing the agenda, the mass awakening of the collective consciousness of this planet. To get people to push the idea of Reiki, energy healing, healing modalities out into the mainstream. So it has to come out of the closet somehow.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
so it takes people like us to be brave to set the example, and say, okay, so it's as valid and as tangible as real, and as perhaps more effective than traditional conventional medicine that's more profit driven.
Yes, exactly. And what I found doing the work that I do, so now what I'm doing now full time is I'm doing Bodywork full time, which consists of deep tissue work, something called zero balancing. I'm a certified zero balancer.
That sounds really interesting. I never heard of it. Could you tell us more?
Sure. So zero balancing, just like muscles hold tension, our bones hold tension. Bones, we think of bones as these like very hard, brittle things, but they're actually quite porous and squishy. So our bones can hold tension in the same way that our muscles do. And zero balancing addresses your entire skeletal structure, both the structure and the energy of the bone, and helps to rebalance it. So any areas of extreme bone held tension, consolidation, restriction, that gets addressed by the practitioner just by palpating your skeletal structure and incorporating different fulcrums. And fulcrums can simply be lifting into the bone, so I would put pressure into the bone in some way, shape, or form, or into the metacarpals or anywhere in the body. Basically, I would address the bone where it needs to be addressed.
So someone who's suffering from osteoporosis can come to you for treatment?
It depends. There are certain contraindications to zero balancing. It depends on the level, the severity of the osteoporosis, the age of the client, and that. But most medical conditions, there are very few contraindications to zero balancing. And so most people who have comorbidities, different medical issues, can still be treated for that. And if anyone has any questions about that, you can always contact me as well with those questions. But I could be more specific, but for the purpose of our time here, that's basically what zero balancing does.
Yes.
So the other really important concept to zero balancing is the fact that the bones are the deepest tissue in the body. So on a metaphysical, spiritual level, this work addresses your I am self.
Yes.
Who you really are, not
just the physical,
not just the physical, not just your education and background, but like your totality, your spirit, your DNA.
It's a complete holistic package. So yes, it actually goes deeper in a higher level than just the physical body. Also, you have the other energy levels and energy bodies. So it's your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being that's packaged and that it helps drive. And in fact, most of our physical symptoms has got to do with, like what you say, a misalignment of energies at the higher level. So when you rectify and focus and work on those issues, the physical symptoms work themselves out.
This is true, and zero balancing is a great example of that. A lot of people who have chronic pain that will never go away, no matter what they've seen, no matter what they've done, something that happens and that zero balancing addresses let's say for example, you and your best friend get into a really bad fight, and you storm out because you're really upset, and you slam the door and you get into your car and you drive 2 blocks and get into a car accident. So you got into a car accident, perhaps you suffered from whiplash, and you're treated, you go to physical therapy, you're well, everything's fine. But ever since that accident, you'll always have this funny sort of a neck pain. Despite going to physical therapy, it just never goes away. And you've figured now, it must just be from this accident, whatever. What can happen, especially in moments of heightened emotional stress, if you were to be upset or resentful of your friend in that moment, and then get into that accident, you can get what's called a freestanding waveform. Trapped in a waveform is like an energy form that gets trapped into your bones. That until it is addressed through zero balancing and actually through the bone, it won't go away because it's trapped energy in the bone versus a diagnosable injury, if you will. Like it was a diagnosable injury, you had whiplash, which is now better, but you're not feeling better. Why? Because that energy is trapped in your bone there, and that's not something a doctor or an X-ray or a CAT scan
will be
can
able
see.
to see or rectify it.
But it's still very real and very present in your body,
Exactly.
and until it's addressed in this way, it won't leave.
For sure, because it's your energy and auric field, and it's going to be there as a blob and or baggage until you choose to release it and help all the therapies including the modalities that you do can assist the clients to do that.
Correct.
Right? How can the clients or viewers get in touch with you? Where can you go to find out more and contact you for some of your services?
So anybody can reach me by email or by phone, text, call. My email is bodyworkbymateo@gmail.com. My phone number is 516-509-6926. You can call or text there. My bodyworkbymateo.com is under construction right now, so that website we hope to have up and running
as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, exactly. Let's qualify that.
I'll be placing these links below, so feel free to get in touch with Mateo and allow him to serve you in all the ways that he can. Right? Thank you again, Mateo.
Yes, thank you so much.
For we hope to see you again in some more future videos. And so thank you guys for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more exciting, interesting videos on spirituality and holistic health. Thank you.